Welcome back. In this video, we'll demonstrate how to set up document repositories in the system step by step. Document repositories are essentially logical containers where all your uploaded or maintained documents are stored. Every document in the system lives in a repository, so creating and managing these repositories is crucial for organized document management. To get started, go to the Smart Doc Manager module or simply search for Repository in the search bar and select the application. Here, you'll see the Repository Setup option. You'll also notice that a few repositories are already created: Customer Other Documents, Customer Legal Documents, Sales and Service Contracts, and Purchase Orders and Contracts. Each repository comes with a system-generated number, a repository name, and a repository type. You can also specify who manages it and who has access to the documents stored there. But let's now create a new repository from scratch so you can see how the process works step by step. When we create a new repository, you'll notice that the system automatically generates the repository number, so you don't need to assign it manually. Next, we'll enter the repository name. In this case, let's call it AMC Contracts, which will store all the annual maintenance contract documents. To make it more specific, we can also refer to it as Equipment AMC, as this repository will house all contracts related to equipment maintenance. The next important field is the type of repository. This defines what the repository is primarily associated with. Now, there are usually two possibilities here. The repository can be linked to a vendor, or it can be linked to an asset. For example, a maintenance contract might be related to the vendor providing the service, but in other cases, it could be tied directly to a specific piece of equipment under your assets. So at this stage, you'll decide whether this repository should be primarily associated with a vendor or with an equipment asset, depending on how your organization manages its maintenance documentation. Now, assigning a type doesn't mean you're restricted to storing only one kind of information. For example, even if you choose asset as the repository type, you can still add details like vendor names, contract references, or any other related information when uploading a document. The purpose of assigning a type is simply to make searching and managing documents much easier later on. Now comes the access setting, which defines who can interact with this repository. You have two options: public or user group. Public access means anyone who is a system user and has access to the document management module can view and upload documents. User group access allows you to restrict access to specific users only. Since I want controlled access, I'll select user group. This enables the next button to configure which users can access the repository. Next, we have the operating unit setting, which is very important. Why? Because your organization might have multiple locations, manufacturing plants, or regional operations. You may want to create separate repositories for the same type of documents, but restricted to different operating units. For example, I'm creating this repository for annual maintenance contracts, AMC, specific to operating unit R10, which represents my northern region operations. By doing this repository will only be accessible within R10. You could also create a centralized repository, not linked to any particular operating unit, which can be accessed by multiple regions or teams, depending on your access rules. Since I've chosen user group access, let's move to the next step and select who can access this repository. Here we can add specific users. Adding them is simple. Just select the user and click Add. That's it. Only these users will have permission to view or upload documents. For example, I'll add the following users: Olivo Smith, Mike Roberts, Nina Kocher, Diana. These 4 users now have access to this repository. Later, if you need to remove someone's access, you can simply delete that user from the list, and they will no longer be able to view or upload documents. Similarly, you can add new users at any time. It's completely flexible. One important point to note is permissions. Can these users only view documents, or can they also add them? That's controlled by the role assigned to the user. Users with add access can upload documents, while users with view-only access can only look at the content. We'll explain in the next video. And that's it! Our AMC repository is now set up with the correct type, operating unit, and user access. In the next video, we'll demonstrate how to upload documents into this repository and show how users can view and interact with them. For now, just save the repository and your setup is complete. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next one.